You know that feeling when your body just isn't, well, quite right. Maybe it's a headache that just sticks around, or a pain that makes you stop and think for a second. We've all been there trying to figure out what's going on.
Absolutely. And that's really the starting point for our discussion today. We're going to look closely at a conversation between someone named Alex who wasn't feeling well and their doctor.
Right.
It's actually a really good example of how we start to understand what our bodies are telling us when we have some kind of health concern.
Exactly. So today we want to really understand the steps a doctor might take, when someone comes in with these common complaints. And we also want to explore how some of our everyday habits, things we do all the time, can have a surprisingly big impact on how we actually feel.
Okay, so let's start with what Alex was experiencing. For several days, Alex had what they described as extreme headaches.
Extreme?
Wow, not just mild. The pain would apparently last through the entire night. Sometimes it would go on for like 5 or 7 hours.
Oh, that sounds truly awful. Debilitating. And it wasn't only headaches, was it? Alex also mentioned feeling pain near the heart area.
That's right. And this pain was almost constant. All the time was the phrase used. Though the intensity could change,
Yeah.
Sometimes really bad, other times more like a normal pain.
Okay. And on top of all that, Alex felt like they might vomit.
Yes, that feeling of nausea was there too.
Yeah.
So headaches, chest area pain, nausea. You can see why they'd be worried.
Definitely. And with symptoms like that, it's natural that Alex and their family would be concerned. Alex's mother apparently had a suspicion, right? She thought it might be related to a gas problem.
She did have that idea, yes, a gas problem.
What's interesting, though, is that even with the mother suggesting that, the doctor didn't just agree straight away. Instead, the doctor recommended some medical tests to be absolutely sure before making a diagnosis. Why is that step, the testing, so important, even when someone has a hunch?
Well, that's a really crucial question.
Yeah.
Because while intuition, like the mother's, can sometimes be right, medical testing gives objective information, data.
Objectives, right.
It helps to rule out more serious possibilities first, and it ensures that the diagnosis you finally land on is accurate. So in this case, the doctor wisely wanted to gather more evidence before, drawing any conclusions.
Makes sense.
And importantly, the doctor also reassured Alex. They said needing tests doesn't automatically mean it's something serious. It's just a way to get a clearer picture of what's actually happening inside.
That reassurance is key, I imagine. So one of the tests the doctor decided to run was something called an ECG test. The doctor explained that this test, it can find if there are any issues with the speed or the rhythm of your heartbeat.
Exactly. It's like listening very closely to the heart's electrical activity.
And Alex apparently mentioned they'd never even heard of an ECG test before.
Right. Which just highlights that even tests doctors use quite often might be completely unfamiliar to patients. It's good the doctor explained it.
Definitely. So Alex had the ECG. The results came back. And here's where it gets really interesting. The doctor told Alex that their heart was absolutely normal.
Absolutely normal.
So what does that tell us about, not jumping to conclusions just based on symptoms alone?
It really underscores that symptoms can be misleading. Chest pain, for example, it isn't always a sign of a heart problem. It can be, but not always.
Okay.
The ECG result gave crucial evidence. It allowed the doctor to confidently look for other explanations. And following this, the doctor confirmed what Alex's mother had suspected all along.
The gas problem.
The gas problem. The doctor said, the main cause is the gas problem. It sounds strange, but sometimes trapped gas can put pressure on different nerves or organs in the abdomen and chest.
Right.
And that pressure can surprisingly lead to sensations like headaches or pain that feels like it's coming from near the heart.
Wow. So Alex was actually quite surprised. And maybe even felt a bit regretful for not trusting their mother's initial thought.
Yes, that was mentioned. A sense of surprise, maybe a little I should have listened kind of feeling.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah.
But the doctor had something really important to say about that, didn't they?
Absolutely. The doctor emphasized that it is always the right decision to get your health concerns checked out by a professional. Always.
Especially if something just doesn't feel right.
Exactly. Especially then. Because ignoring potential heart problems, for instance, could have very, very serious consequences. So while the mother's suspicion turned out to be correct this time, seeking that professional medical advice was still the right, responsible thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Better safe than sorry, as they say. Okay, so the mystery of the headaches and the heart area pain was solved. It was gas. But the conversation took an interesting turn from there, didn't it? Alex then started asking the doctor about their lifestyle. Why do you think Alex brought that up? Right after getting the diagnosis for the immediate problem.
Well, it suggests that Alex was starting to think more broadly about their health, recognizing that maybe their daily habits, their routine, might be playing a role in how they were feeling overall.
Oh, okay.
Even if it wasn't directly causing the gas issue itself, it shows Alex was sort of taking a more proactive approach to their well-being, thinking bigger picture.
And this is where we see how connected everything in our body really is. Alex admitted to sleeping very late, every single night, because they were working on the computer for a huge amount of time, 15, 16 hours a day.
15 or 16 hours. That's a lot. That's a significant amount of time working, and likely very little time left for proper rest or sleep.
Yeah. And Alex also mentioned that they weren't really aware of the, quote, bad effects of sleeping late at night.
Right, and this is actually quite common. Many people underestimate the impact of poor sleep habits. The doctor then explained it quite clearly. Sleeping late is terrible for your health.
Terrible. That's strong language.
It is, and the doctor even listed some potential serious consequences. Things like increased risk of heart attack, brainstalk, memory loss, many diseases.
Wow. That's a powerful list. Alex seemed genuinely surprised by this, based on the account. It sounds like they just hadn't realized their sleep schedule could have such wide-ranging effects.
It seems that way.
They even said they wanted to change this habit, recognizing it wasn't good for their physical health. So what is it? What's so concerning about consistently sleeping late?
Well, what's really fascinating and concerning is the disruption it causes to our body's natural internal clock, often called our circadian rhythm.
Circadian rhythm, right.
This rhythm regulates so many important bodily functions, hormone release, cell repair, even how well our immune system works. When you chronically disrupt this rhythm by sleeping late all the time, it puts a strain on all these processes. Over time, that can potentially increase the risk for various health problems, like the ones the doctor mentioned.
It's like throwing your whole system out of whack.
Pretty much, yeah, on a regular basis.
And the doctor offered some practical advice on how to actually make a change, right? It's not easy just to suddenly switch.
No, it's not. And the doctor acknowledged that. They advised making the change gradually, small steps. It's often really difficult to suddenly alter a habit you've had for a long time. So taking small, manageable steps is usually much more effective for long-term success.
Gradual change. Makes sense.
And the doctor also offered encouragement, which is important, expressing confidence in Alex's ability to actually make these positive changes.
That support must be helpful. And speaking of the doctor's manner, Alex actually complimented the doctor, mentioned their friendly behavior. It sounds like the way a doctor interacts with you, the patient, can make a really big difference in the experience.
Oh, absolutely. A huge difference. And the doctor seemed to agree. They framed it as an important part of their job, to make patients feel comfortable, to build trust.
Yeah.
A positive patient-doctor relationship really can improve the whole healthcare experience. It encourages open communication, which is vital.
So let's just look back at this whole experience for Alex. They went to the doctor with some pretty worrying symptoms. Severe headaches, pain near the heart.
Things that would definitely make you concerned.
Right. And after some tests, like the ECG, it turned out the main issue was something quite common: gas.
Yes, yeah. But beyond that immediate diagnosis, we gained some really valuable insights from this whole exchange.
Like what?
Well, we saw how important it is to seek professional medical advice when you're genuinely concerned about your health. Even if other people, like family, have their own opinions or suspicions, get it checked out.
Right. Don't just rely on hunches, even if they sometimes turn out right.
Exactly. And we also had that real kind of aha moment, understanding the significant connection between our daily habits, like sleep, and our overall well-being.
Yeah, that sleep connection was really eye-opening. It's incredible, really, to realize that something we might think of as a relatively small choice, like when we go to sleep, can actually have such profound, such deep effects on our health.
It really can.
It makes you stop and think, doesn't it? About maybe what other seemingly minor habits in our own lives might be having a much bigger impact on our well-being than we currently realize.